What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Trent back with another video, and we got a special guest, my man Amir. Obviously, you guys know who he is, and this is going to be part two of our series called Heat 'Em Up. And in today's video, we are going to be talking about some Paul George and just some trade rumors that have been linked to the Miami Heat in the last couple hours because a lot of stuff has been talked about, and I honestly think this is going to be one hectic off season, and hopefully it's involving the Miami Heat because we all know, we stay very very quiet, but we'll see what happens. But Amir, hope you're having a great day, man. How's everything going? And yeah, I'm gonna ask you the question right off rip.
Yep,
Do,
I'm good,
do you
man.
want? That's good. Do you want Paul George on this Miami Heat team? And I'll ask why, because everybody's like, how can the Heat get Paul George? Well, it looks like the Clippers and him are not on the same page with contract extensions and stuff like that. And Paul George is like, he's kind of chasing money at this point, and he said it on his podcast. He's like, he didn't say it directly, but if you kind of went between the lines, it's like, I'm chasing money over a championship, and so he's just going where the best place is that's going to offer the most money, and it's going to be involved in a signing trade if nothing can work out. So that's how the Heat can get involved, throw some pieces in there, and possibly get Paul George. But Amir, yeah, let us know what you guys think about Paul George. Do you want him on Miami, or what is it?
I mean, yes and no. Like, it's gonna be hard with the sign and trade because he's making like in the 40s. He's an unrestricted free agent, and so if we do sign and trade him, then he's gonna make a lucrative contract that we're gonna be on the hook for, and he's gonna be making it wanting in the 50s, right, or whatever it may be. So it's gonna be hefty price to get him. So I'm hesitant about that piece, and also like, who are we going to trade? Like, I mean, Tyler makes 30, Duncan is 19. I mean, that can get you close to it right there, and then they probably want a sweetener, like probably Jaime or one of Jovic. So I mean, that can get it done technically and match
Caleb.
the salaries. Or Caleb too. We sign and trade that piece. Yeah, I mean, maybe that way you don't have to involve a rookie, or not a rookie, but one of the kids. But I don't know. I'm from Fresno. I went to school there, and Paul George went to school there at the same time. So I'm a PG fan by default. Saw him play in college. Played with him in college at the rec center. Actually, a couple times I got to throw him an alley oop from half court, which is like something I'll never forget in my life. But I've always rooted for him from afar. But yes, the answer is yes. As of right now, if we're keeping Jimmy Butler, if Jimmy Butler signs the extension, doesn't get traded, we're still in the build with Jimmy and Bam. Tyler, I'm not going to include him in there because I hope he's gone. But yes, if we can add him as the third person on this team, I am willing to take that risk at this point because we need to make some significant change if we want to actually be a contender against the Boston Celtics. Um, he's had some injury history and stuff like that too, which is obviously not great, but he did play like 77 games last season, averaged 23 points. Um, I take him on this team because in our system, he would fit well. He's a good defensive player too. He would be our 1A option. Jimmy would gladly take that back seat, and it wouldn't be the same as him playing with James Harden and Kawhi, right? Because Bam is not offensive minded, and Jimmy's willing to take a back seat and load manage, right, and take some time off. So I don't love it, but I will say yes because again, I'm a Fresno guy. We desperately need a star. We need the scoring. My only issue with him is his playoff record. Let's see, he's uh, below 500, 53 and 61. So playoff P is not a thing. So that's my biggest issue there. Is he going to step up in the playoffs or is he going to get hurt again? Like last year was the first time in a while that he's played a bunch of games. I mean, what are your thoughts on him joining?
Yeah, I personally don't want PG. Just because alone we're already talking about Jimmy Butler getting old, and then we're worried about giving him a contract, and he's been here forever, and then we're gonna talk about signing trade for Paul George, who just cares about money. So they're both around similar ages, and then also when PG, it just makes too much excuses for me, and then playoffs he doesn't show up at all. I mean, just a few numbers that he did this season, with the Clippers in the playoffs when they needed him the most with no Kawhi Leonard, he struggled. 22 points, but he was 8 for 20. He had one good game out the playoffs, and that was 33 points, 11 for 19. That's the only good game that he played against the Mavericks. And then the closing game, he had 18 points, shooting 6 for 18, 2 for 10 at the 3 point line. Like this is a typical Paul George playoffs. That's what he does. So I'm all set with him with age, injuries, concerns, him just making a bunch of excuses, him not performing in the playoffs, I'm all set with that.
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't had the luck though. I mean, against when he was in the Pacers and he had his coming out party against the Miami Heat. I mean, he was going up against the big three. He's had a good career, obviously, and then with the Clippers, he's had the injury history with himself, and then the injury history with Kawhi. Like he's been unlucky, where Kawhi has missed a ton of playoff games. So it's not like all his fault, but like to your point, if he was going to be that alpha, because he was going to be that co-alpha with Kawhi. Obviously, Kawhi Leonard is better. He's a what is he, 2 or 3 time champion with multiple teams. Obviously, Kawhi's better, healthy, right? But Paul George was not supposed to be too far behind him, so it just sucks that they both have been injured basically their entire time, like with the LA Clippers. But to your point, if you were going to be that 1B, right? Because Kawhi's the 1A, he's the 1B, and especially if you're alone, because Kawhi's gone, you need to chuck up more shots. Like you need to be scoring 25, 26 points per game, not the 21. Like 21 on a Heat fucking squad, we can't even get guys to get averaging more than 20 points a game. You know what I mean? Like we had no top 20 scorer or no top 40 scorer in the NBA, right? Like I think Tyler, Jimmy, and Bam were like 41, 44, and 45 in terms of scoring in the league. So I hear you, man. I feel you on that one. There's other fish out there that we could, potentially get, but we already know what's going to happen this offseason, Trent. We're not going to get anybody. We're going to get Kyle Kuzma if possible at best. We're going to get like a Bruce Brown, hell, like one of the KCP type guy, right? Like we're not going to get anybody like above that tier. And if we do, that might be fine. But again, your favorite word, if we're healthy, if we get these guys, if whatever. I don't know, man.
You know I hate that if word, man, because Ernest uses it all the time. But my last thing to you would be is how do you feel about Walker Kessler? He's available for trade.
I mean, another white guy on this Miami Heat team, I guess that's fine. But um, yeah, he's a good rim protector, right? If I haven't watched a lot of Utah Jazz games of late. I know what is he, a second or third year pro, or he's like still in his rookie contract? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I believe so. He just had a bad year last year, so the team, like a lot of people are like his upside went down, but he's still very effective.
Yeah, I think defensively and like rebounds, like sure we need the help there, but because we're one of the worst rebounding teams, 26th in the NBA last year, and rim protection, we're like a bottom 10 team. Um, all we have is Bam Adebayo, and he's averages barely a block a game. So I think that's okay, but does he spread the floor? That's another question too.
He
No,
does
so
not.
okay. I mean, as a backup, sure. Like it's gonna be Jovic and Bam in the front court. So like coming off like as a traditional big, if he's cheap, why not? But I'm sure there's better options out there that are gonna start popping up. Like what's his face? Isaiah Stewart is going to be available. Dude from the Pistons, I'd rather take a flyer on him. Um, but yeah, we're there. It's slim pickings, man. There's not going to be guys that we can actually afford. So like, I take a look at them for sure.
Yeah, I agree. But anyways, I hope y'all enjoyed today's episode. And let us know in the comment sections what do you guys think about Amir's opinion on Paul George, Walker Kessler, and Isaiah Stewart. Make sure you go check out his channel. You can promote it, Amir, and also, you know, we're gonna do more episodes of Hit 'Em Up. So make sure y'all turn on notifications for that too. And I hope y'all enjoy. Peace.